was partially joking, but in college we ran and we ate. I mean, that was it. That's what we centered everything around was running and competing. And yeah, you've got to balance it now. I've got more
Yeah,
responsibilities than just showing up for the next 8K race.
we didn't go to class. You're right. I mean,
Well, I mean, we did do that. Yeah.
we went
Yeah.
to some classes in between there,
There were okay, so
just peppered in there.
we ate, we went to class, we ate, we ran. Sometimes we ran, we ate, we went to class, we ran, we ate, we went to class, but
We slept a little bit in between there.
there was some sleep. There was some sleep involved.
Running with Maverick and Wolfman. Maverick here.
Wolfman here.
Hey guys, remember to like and share on
Facebook, X, Instagram. Make sure you find us on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications, the little bell, so you know when we release new content.
subscribe.
Yes.
All right, guys, if you're new to the show, Wolfman and Maverick, we are both physical therapists and we are your co-hosts for the show. And welcome. And if you're not new to the show, you are awesome. Thanks for being here again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening.
The new people are awesome too. Let's be honest. All right, let's get into this.
Everybody's awesome.
Let's get into this. So there was a bunch of marathons. What marathons took place recently?
So since we last spoke, the big ones that happened were Boston almost a week ago, last Monday, and today the London Marathon kicked off. If you watched it in U.S. time, it started at 4 a.m., I believe. I didn't get up that early to watch it, but I did watch most of it.
Yeah, I didn't get up to watch it either.
But it was pretty wild stuff. The London Marathon, the current Olympic champion, she won it today, the London Marathon, and she set a new women's world record of 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 16 seconds.
It's flying.
Oh man, it was pretty wild to watch. It was a group for quite a while, and then it was down to about 3, and then she just kind of took it away.
2:16. Wow.
Yeah. And she holds the current Olympic title, so it'll be interesting to see what she does this year at the Olympics.
Give me the updates on the other winners.
The guy that won Boston, I'm going to butcher his name probably, but Cisse Lemon or Lemma. He ran a 2 hour, 6 minute marathon, 17 seconds, but he was not favored to win. His previous best at Boston was 30th place. He did not finish at least 2 of them, maybe even 4, I think they said when I was watching it. And he led from the get-go by minutes. And he was not expected to hold it and finish, let alone win the thing. So that was pretty wild. I didn't get to watch that one quite as well. I listened to a fair amount of it, but I mean that's an impressive time.
Yeah, that's a big drop.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, they wouldn't expect him to win it.
Yeah. And Boston is net downhill. I'm not sure about London, so you know that's
Yeah,
fascinating.
a lot of big names in the big events. A lot of big
Yeah,
names.
yeah. I think they said too that the London Marathon this year had the most people they've ever had. Mostly charity runners, so
Hmm.
they'll have raised the most money they've ever raised in the history of the marathon.
Sure.
Today they said, but what really threw me off though is they would, they're British broadcasters, so they kept talking in metric. So of course, some of it I wasn't following very well.
You got to convert, man. You got to just
I
get your
guess
brain going. Conversion.
meters, kilometers. I'm good with that because we race, so I'm familiar with that. But they would talk about the weather and Celsius and
You you got to
okay,
be familiar. You just got to do it.
but
You should start doing that. You should start walking around the house talking about everything
just talking in
Celsius.
metric.
Yeah, just to convert everything and just go around your house talking to everybody. They're gonna be like, "What's wrong with Dad?"
Do we have a liter of milk in here? Is there a liter of milk?
I just got a few liters in the petrol in the vehicle. You're good.
Oh, that's funny.
So now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you just start training for your marathon?
I did. Today was the first official day of the marathon training for Wine Glass. So it's
So
20
Wolfman at Wineglass.
Wolfman at Wine Glass 2024. 24 weeks away, I think.
All right, it's a good amount of
So
time.
yeah,
How are you
that's
feeling?
good. I was telling my wife actually, I am more sore today than I was over my last couple long runs, and they were longer,
Huh?
and they weren't much difference in time. But yeah, my legs just generally were more sore today.
Yeah, I, I would say I've experienced some of that as well. Like just sometimes doing almost nothing and my legs are sore from maybe it's because of 2 days before what I did, or maybe it's because of the weird activity that I was doing. So like today I'm running up and down the street with my kids and they're riding their bikes and I'm like, well, I'm not running that hard, but I guess just the way I'm running, like changing pace and trying to keep up with their bike and accelerations, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely more sore than I was when I ran a longer run the other day.
Yeah. How was your training going? A longer
uh,
run. What was it?
my long run's only like 4 miles.
Hey, we're
But
working
at
for
least I'm
10, right?
running, which is more than I have been in previous years. So
Yeah.
uh, I'm still doing well. Like I've run more days and more consistent, and my times are quicker. Like I'm definitely running faster. I didn't even realize how quick I was going until I jumped on a treadmill, and then I was like, I got it. I just started dropping the time down, drop the time down, and I was running like I got the treadmill down at like 6 minute per mile pace, and I was like, this doesn't actually feel too bad. Like running
Yeah.
6 minute per mile pace. So I was like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I guess I've been running quicker than I thought I was, but I just don't have the endurance right now. Like I can't keep it going
Yeah.
for the whole time. Like I have to take a break. I get to like 5K, and I'm like, man, I need
Uh,
to take a little break. But I'm probably just running too hard. That's probably what it is.
yeah, could be. I don't know. I ran with Wolfman Jr. yesterday. I did 3 with him and then 3 on my own. And man, that he's getting better. That last mile of the first 3 we did together, I just let him go because I didn't want to work that hard. I was supposed to be on an easy run and he was just moving. So, you know, all this time I've been hesitant to run with him because I used to have to really hold back. And boy, now we could probably run a good 3, 4, 5 miles together and I wouldn't have to slow down at all. Just run my easy pace and maybe even just let him go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because the kids they rebound so fast. So they're ready to go. Like they step outside and they're ready to run. And
Yeah.
we're like getting warmed up now. It's like, oh, I can't just step out and run that quick. I gotta warm
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point too, because I just finished Meb for Mortals, and he talks about how he just kind of the first mile or two of every run is just kind of getting your legs underneath you, getting warmed up, and then he
Yeah.
starts settling into pace. And so I've been trying to more purposefully put that into practice, and
Right.
definitely finish runs better and stronger and feel better afterwards, if that
Right.
makes sense.
It totally does. I mean, I for sure am just the first mile. If I try to push it, it's just a waste.
Yeah,
I'm just running against myself. There's no purpose. But if I take it easy and just run whatever my body feels like, then I'm good. And then I can
yeah,
click in for the second mile, the third mile, fourth mile. But yeah, that first mile, I have to just kind of dog it just because my body's just not in that kind of shape. Like we used to be able to just step out and just hit 7, 6, whatever, 5, like whatever we needed to, we would just step right into that mile
yeah,
pace. And it's not the same after taking some time off. It's just
yeah,
not
yeah.
not the same.
And it's not like I would like hammer right into it like we used to either, like you're saying. But I used to try to, all right, let's settle into this pace a little quicker. But now I've been kind of just really taking my time after reading that, and what a difference.
Yeah, I'm a slow learner when it comes to change.
Yeah. Well, I was telling my other friend that, like, if Meb and I were a little closer in age, he wasn't so much faster than I am and lived on the other side of the country, we could probably be running buddies. We
It
have such very similar philosophies when it comes to running and competition and all of it, really. But highly recommend the book if you haven't read it. Meb for
I
Mortals.
have not read it. I didn't even see it. Never heard of it actually.
I'd
So I'm gonna
heard
have
of
to
it,
take a
but
look.
I didn't buy it or anything. And I thought it was his biography. But it's not. It's really just centers around his running philosophies. And
Yeah.
yeah, excellent read. I read it in just a couple weeks, which is pretty good for me. I know probably some people could read it in a day, but it was good. But I think I did buy his biography. It's called 26 Marathons. It hasn't arrived yet, but that'll be the next book.
Okay. Wine glass. Are we putting on any predictions time wise?
I have my goals. I'll share them with you privately. I've told some family. I'm gonna tell some close friends, and we'll see what happens. So,
Okay, let's talk about this. I saw a video with you doing some pull ups. So what are you up to with the pull ups in the Mark challenge?
yeah, I sent you a video the other night, the Marky Mark challenge. So I should have done it fresh. That was after an hour workout. Not complete pull-ups, but some pull-ups. I think I did. I think I recorded twice because I screwed it up the first time. I did three each time, so three free ones at a clip. But I can, with the small band, I'm at 8 to 10 depending on the style of pull-up. And because I wanted to try to get more
Yeah.
reps, I went down to the heavier band, thinking use that as I get fatigued, get more reps, and it was too easy. I hit my head on the rafters. So I said, "Well, we're not using that anymore. We'll just go to fatigue, and that'll be it."
Yeah, you gotta watch those bands.
Yeah, but yeah, so still coming for you, Mark.
He's not even intimidated.
No, and by the time I get to where I could probably beat him, he'll be so far my senior. I'll have that advantage too. How old is Mark? Mark?
Uh,
Would
I
he
don't know.
be? Let's see. I bet he's in his late 40s. I bet he's not as much older than us as I think he is.
I
I
bet
don't know. That makes sense.
I bet he's listening and he's getting more and more ticked off.
Hey, that's all right.
Like coming down there and gonna do some pull-ups against this guy.
I've been working on my one arm game. No, I haven't.
Yeah, pull-ups take a lot of effort. They take a lot of effort. You got to work on them regularly.
Yeah. And then you sent me a video of pumping out like 15 of them, like they're butter.
Well, that was a long time ago.
You
I
sent
don't.
it to me like 2 days ago.
That was 48 hours ago. That's a long time ago. No, they're. You have to work on 'em. If you work on them, they get easier, but it takes time, just like anything, because
Yeah.
you got to build the muscle up that allows you to do the proper form. So
Oh, sure, sure.
without kipping.
I would say they're definitely getting easier, but they are still probably one of the most challenging exercises I currently do.
Yeah.
Push-ups came back quick. The core stuff came back quick. Um, Even some of the weight training it came back rather quickly, but those pull-ups, man, ugh,
So
terrible.
I saw some of our followers were running down in Delaware. Did you see that?
I did, yeah. They did. Was it a half marathon?
I don't know. I think so. Which town was it? I didn't catch that.
Um, in Delaware, which town in Delaware?
Yeah, did you catch that?
You know, I did not. I just saw it was in Delaware, and I thought it was pretty wild. That was a nice job. And I know one of our followers, they got into the Disney Dopey Challenge, so that's
A couple.
exciting.
I've heard from a few. Yeah,
Even better. And
yeah.
oh, Matt ran in another state, so I think that's what 28 states on his 50 state marathon.
Matt Collins, who was on one of our previous episodes.
Yeah.
Way to
So
go, Matt. Keeping
that's
it
pretty
up.
exciting. And then yeah, I think we've got some ultra stuff coming up for some of our previous guests and followers. So
We've
that's
got a
always
little bit of everything coming
new.
up.
We do, yeah. We got our
We've
10-miler.
got 10 miler. We've got half marathons, marathons. We've got 5Ks. We've got people, former guests that were doing all those things.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be some pretty exciting episodes coming up. Some repeat guests coming up. Some new guests as well.
yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be some interesting stuff.
for sure. Looking forward to it. Hope you are.
Looking forward to some aspects of running in the future few months. Some aspects I'm not looking forward to as usual. No, honestly I am looking forward to it. I just the process when you're used to running, when you're not a novice, you know what's coming. You know
Yeah,
what kind of hard work is ahead of you, and you're focused on that. And that's the thing that it's not that I'm not looking forward to it. I'm I'm preparing myself for it because I know what that's going to be like. I know what those long
yeah,
runs are going to be like. I know what the repeat workouts are going to be like, and it's hard work. So if you're someone that's working on these things, congratulations, way to go. Because most
yeah.
people aren't able to do what you're doing.
No,
These half marathons,
they're
they're no
not.
joke. They're no
No.
joke. So pat yourself on the back, celebrate a little bit.
Yeah,
We never did. We always used to, we barely celebrated. You got to celebrate your victories, your accomplishments.
yeah.
And it's motivation to do it again, of course, but make sure you're celebrating along the way as well. Have some fun with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And keep getting out there. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Got to
One of
do the
the
training.
one of the
Training helps.
women what's that? Sorry.
Training helps.
It does. Preparation's key. We've said it before. One of the women in the London Marathon, she got passed by some of the male leaders, and she's smiling. Like one of the elite women is smiling ear to ear, like she's nowhere near the front. She's just having a good old time, and that's. I mean, I love seeing that kind of stuff. You got to have fun with it. She's competing at a level that's way up here, and she's just still fully enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're doing this stuff after a while, if you're not having fun with it, I don't get it. I don't get it. You got to enjoy it. You got to get out there, have
Yeah.
some fun, have some laughs. It's too many miles not to laugh. You got to laugh through some of it.
Oh
Can't take
yeah.
it all so serious.
Ain't that the truth?
I would say when I relax with my running, I definitely PR'd a lot more. Like
Yeah.
senior year, pretty much every meet was a PR.
That is pretty awesome. I think it definitely definitely helps you through the miles, I think, when you can learn to have fun with it. And it takes time. I mean, some people can go in and have fun with it from the start. And don't get me wrong, I've never not enjoyed it, but um yeah, I mean, if you can have fun with it, you can see success and enjoy it a lot more,
For
I think.
sure. For sure.
But yeah, man.
So let me ask you this. What's one of your upcoming workouts? Like, what are you going to be doing for this marathon to get yourself a little quicker?
So some changes I'm going to do is so there's a couple things that I really lack um and cut
Lack.
out. Well, I don't I lack I tend to cut them out first because it's easy to cut them out, and they're not pivotal in my mind to the running part of it, so they're easy to cut out. I'm going to really focus more on the strengthening aspect of it. So, like continuing to do P90X, which by first 90 days this is the last week of the first 90 days. So then I'll have 2 off weeks, and then I'm going to start another cycle of that. So I've written that down in my plan as well. And the other one that I really tend to not do well with is sleep. Um, I've been playing with sleep a little bit over the last few weeks to see kind of where I really feel the best. And about 7 hours is where I feel the best. If I sleep that 8, 9 hours that they recommend, I
Yeah.
feel sluggish. And if I sleep less than that, like if I sleep 4, 5, 6 hours, I just feel tired. But if I get around a 7 hour sleep, I feel pretty good. So that's my goal,
Yeah.
as close
Yeah.
to 7 hours as I can a night. And we'll see how that changes performance. I've never played with those two things, so we'll see what happens.
Well, from a father of four to a father of four, I'd just like to say good luck.
I know. I know. Like today,
Oh,
my first day of training, I was looking forward to it all day. I mean, I've been running. I make it sound like I haven't done anything, but my first day of this training block, I'll put it that way. And I was looking forward to it. And then we find out we've got our basketball game at 8 in the morning, which means we have to leave at like 6:30. And I was just like, well, I guess I got two options. I can either run after the games, which was what I did, so like 1 o'clock, or I could run before them and wake up at like 3. Um, so I ran it. I ran around 1. It wasn't ideal. I'm not used to that. I usually run in the morning, especially my long runs. Get up, get them done. But I did it and felt good. Um, you got to have that flexibility, you know. And it got cold. I wasn't looking forward to that. And for lunch, you're eating on the fly. So I had McDonald's
oh
filet of
boy.
fish meal.
Oh
And
God.
I will say it wasn't
Oh,
bad, but
dude. You
I
you
felt,
pick some of the stuff that you pick. It's like there's no way I'm not eating that and running. There's no way.
well, it was
I'm not gonna
almost,
eat that, let alone run afterwards.
I
Man.
had almost an hour before I ran, and I felt pretty good. I got a little gurgly at about 9, 10 miles. And then I was like,
The
well,
average person is throwing up after eating and running. After if they eat what you eat and then run, they're throwing up, and then you're just like, it was a little bit off. You know?
but maybe that's why my legs are so sore. They're full of filet of fish.
Oh, jeez.
But
I'm more
it's
likely to
nothing
not
ideal.
eat anything than to do something like that.
I honestly, it crossed my mind, but I knew I would get hungry, and if I think Lori and I talked about this, like especially if I'm on those long runs or even competing in the marathon, if I am getting hungry, it's already too late. So,
Mm.
I
See,
decided filet of fish looked all right. It was under the calorie count I was looking for. take our chances. I knew I was running past the school. There's a porta potty at the school, and then it wasn't that far to my mom's, and there's a lot of wooded area out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a skip. Grab a spoon of peanut butter or something. I'm like, no, there's no way I can eat something heavy and then run. It's just
Yeah.
it doesn't work out. I'm not a big eater when it comes to during the run. That's part of my marathon training. I'm trying to eat and then run a little bit or run closer to eating. For
So
years I wouldn't eat for hours and then I
yeah,
would run. Like 2-3 hours I wouldn't eat anything. Wouldn't drink anything and then I'd go for my run so I wouldn't cramp.
I don't know if I could do that. Like I've been keeping a log as well, which I don't typically do. So I've changed a few things on this adventure I'm on. Um, and so I've been keeping a log and kind of like when did you run and how'd you feel, or when did you eat, how'd you feel, when did you start feeling that way? And I would
Who's
say
your daddy?
yeah,
What does he do?
about an hour and a half to 2 hours seems to be optimal where like I don't feel like things are sloshing around and stuff like that. Um, but I can eat. I can easily eat within an hour and be okay. It just doesn't feel the best as I've logged it. I've realized, okay, so that wasn't the best idea. Let's change that a little bit. But a few weeks ago, I ran after church, and that was also kind of unexpected, running that late. And I had a small window of time, and I went out and I ran. And probably halfway through the run, or three quarters of the way through the run, I realized I really hadn't had anything to drink since early in the morning, and I didn't take any Gatorade with me or anything. And boy, I could have used that. Just hydration, which is also something I've never really paid much attention to. So all kinds of new adventures on this training block. And I've been running for how long? You know?
That's it. That's it. I was at it's a track, but it wasn't what we would consider a track in true form. Like you're not gonna have
Yeah.
races on it. It's a track in the sense of it's a circle around a field.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've got a
And
couple up here. Yeah.
my one of my kids was playing baseball, so I was had some time to waste. So I was running around in a loop and did like a mile warm up and started doing quarters. And it wasn't exactly quarter mile, so I'm not sure exactly what my time was, but I was basically running like 5:20s.
Mhm.
Um, and I felt pretty good. Felt better than I thought I would. But I was like, you know what? You used to be able to just run this continuously.
Oh, I know. I
Now I'm working out doing quarters at this pace, and it felt all right. But
Yeah,
I know I got done with it, and I was like, man, do I need to Gatorade right now?
yeah. Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
really need to hydrate right now. Like I am not. Like the old days, you'd get done with like an 8-10 mile workout, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I'll just stroll down to dinner and grab something to eat, get a
yeah, yeah,
drink. No big deal. Just got done my race. I'll find a glass of water somewhere. I'll get a bottle of water somewhere. No big deal. I'll get it later. I got another race, and now it's like I'm really gonna need a glass of water right now.
Do you remember I thought of this the other day. I think it was, maybe our cardio poem class, and, they were talking to us about, um, endurance athletics and fueling and stuff like that, and one of them asked, um after you're done with a race, how do you refuel? And we were both like, you asking me? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, you don't want to know. And they're like, no, no, tell us, tell us, tell us. I was like, we go to Wendy's, we go to the dollar menu, and I get a double bacon cheeseburger, whatever it is, junior bacon cheeseburger, a frosty, the 5-piece nugget, a chili, and what was the other sandwich that was on the menu? Whatever that is. And then they were like, "Yeah, we shouldn't have asked you."
Yeah, I remember people asking us a lot about that because we were so thin and we would eat
Yeah,
so much, and they'd be like, "What's with you guys?" And we're like, "Well, we're running, We're gonna run 8 miles at 7-minute
Yeah.
per mile pace, and that's if someone doesn't decide to pick it up. That's
Yeah.
the easy day. And then tomorrow we'll do a workout, and they're like, "What? What?"
Yeah.
And it's like, "How many calories do you have to eat?" We're like, "As many as we can get, like literally as many as
Never,
I can put down in 24 hours."
never counted it. Never.
No, you.
Never
Well,
even thought about it.
I
If I was
remember
hungry, I ate.
I remember one person was like, no, specifically, they wanted me to go over like how my day was, and I said to them, I said, listen, we get up in the morning, we're starving, so we eat breakfast, and we get a tray, we fill the tray up,
Yep.
then we
And we
eat
were
whatever
one of
we
the
can
only
on that
groups that
tray,
breakfast every day.
go back up, get another tray, then we go to our classes, then we go to lunch, and we eat lighter because we have to run in a few hours, so we eat like a smaller lunch, like not small, but just small for us, like a normal lunch it would basically be.
Like a half
Then
a tray.
Yeah, then you're like, yeah, so then we go to run, and then as soon as we're done running, we go right down to dinner and we eat, just a whole tray and then another tray and then dessert. And then a few hours later after studying and doing stuff, then we go and get either another meal or we get a snack or whatever we can find in the dorm, and that's what we eat again up until we go to bed. And like literally up until there's no stopping. Like you eat until you go to bed, and then you wake up, and then this whole process starts over again. And they're like, "Well, how many calories is that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not figuring that out. I don't care. I'm just eating whatever I can eat."
We eat and we run.
That was it. That was it.
That's wild. Those were the
And now
days.
I'm like thinking about that. I'm like, man, like the teammates that didn't keep running and ate like that, like if they continued to eat like that and kept and didn't run, they'd be weighing
Oh
a ton.
yeah.
Because that would put on some pounds, man. That was a
Yeah.
lot of food.
I mean, that was part of my downfall just a few years ago, keep eating how you would eat when you run, and I wasn't running. And I mean, yeah, the weight just came on, came on, came on, came on, you know. But then you get back into it, and I've made a lot of healthier choices as far as eating goes because we're not 20 anymore. And it was effort and work, but it came off.
Yeah, I'm 21.
Yeah, I wish.
Not
Yeah,
quite.
I say that. I don't wish that. I don't wish that.
No, no. Like people always said, like I don't know about you, but I get a lot of patients that are like, "Oh yeah, I wish I was 25 again," and I'm like, "Really? All
Yeah,
the
I
crap
know.
you had to go through at 25, you want to go through all that again?"
Yeah,
Or they're
I,
like,
I
"I wish I was back in high school." I was like, "Who wishes they're back in high school?" I was like, "That's like some drama from Hollywood." I was like, "You don't want to be back in high
yeah.
school."
I wish I knew then what I know now, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't go back and do it differently. You know what I mean?
Dude, I don't want to know what I know now back in high school. That would suck. I'm happy with the way it went when it went down. Leave it alone. I
hmm
don't need to go back. I don't need to go forward. Just live in the moment. Be
I
content in
think,
the moment, people. Just let it go.
yeah, I say that, but I guess from a running aspect, I wish I knew then what I know now. Um,
I'm cool. I'm good.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be where I am at this point, and I think, especially doing this podcast with you, like I've really dove back into watching races all the time and reading about running all the time, and the things I really enjoy. And um it's changed a lot of things, not only from the physical aspect but just you know mentally. Like I really enjoy those things, and I didn't realize how much I was missing those things until we started doing this again and getting back, immersing myself back into it like it used to be.
Right. Right.
So
It's funny that you say that because I've heard that from our listeners too. Like multiple listeners have reached out and said the same thing. Like
yeah.
since they've been listening to the show, they've gotten back into running, competing, and all those aspects that they kind of let go. And let's be honest, a lot of the time it's because of your personal life, whether you're
Oh
busy
yeah.
with work or family,
Yeah.
kids, wife, whatever. You like it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And not that you shouldn't do that, you absolutely should.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just it's a different existence. So you can't
It is.
be as selfish as you were
Yeah.
back in college or back in high school or whenever it was that you were competing at that level. It's a
Right.
different way of competing. You can still be very competitive, but you have to balance life now.
Yeah.
It's not just all about Wolfman.
Yeah. I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, I was partially joking, but in college we ran and we ate. I mean, that was it. That's what we centered everything around was running and competing. And yeah, you've got to balance it now. I've got more
Yeah,
responsibilities than just showing up for the next 8K race.
we didn't go to class. You're right. I mean,
Well, I mean, we did do that. Yeah.
we went
Yeah.
to some classes in between there,
There were okay, so
just
we
peppered in there.
we ate, we went to class, we ate, we ran. Sometimes we ran, we ate, we went to class, we ran, we ate, we went to class, but you
We
know,
slept a little bit in between there.
there was some sleep. There was some sleep involved.
7 hours. That's it. No
That's
more,
it.
no less.
No more, no less. I mean, did we
I
ever do all-nighters? I don't really feel like you or I ever pulled those all-nighters in
I
school
did one.
or
I did
class.
one all nighter. It wasn't on purpose. It was midnight breakfast during finals week,
Oh,
and I
yes.
had to do that exercise prescription where I had to tie it together.
Yep.
And I was like, "It's all done. How hard?" And it's like it's gonna be easy. It's not gonna be difficult. I'm just gonna tie all my papers together. Not a big deal. That was terrible. It took forever. I
Yeah.
was up. I
I'd
don't
have
even
been
know,
done.
4 a.m. maybe, and then it snowed and school got canceled. And I was like, you know what? We're not even gonna have to turn this thing in. And they gave us some kind of like extension. And I turned it in anyway. I was like, forget it, I'm turning it in. I walked over in the snow. I threw it underneath the door. I was like, I'm done. I did it. I was up till 4 in the morning. I basically was up all night. Whatever, it's done. And yeah, I turned it and I was out.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about that. Midnight breakfast. Those were fun.
Yeah.
Those were fun.
They're probably still doing those things.
They were very desirable.
So those of you listening, midnight breakfast was during finals week. They would give us breakfast,
The
go over to the
staff
cafeteria, serve
did that.
out free breakfast for everybody that was studying for finals. So everyone would kind of come together. There'd be a karaoke finals.
Yeah. It was a fun time. Fun time.
Go Cougs.
Yeah. My friend in misery, baby.
Hey, speaking of that, by the way, I was checking it out. I saw something on Instagram about one of their meets, and they had MU had the steeple as the third to last event, if I'm not mistaken. It
Okay.
wasn't the first event, so I had to reach out to Coach Chris and say, "Hey, what's up with that? That's got to be the first event." And he was explaining to me why he moved it around, and I respect Chris, so that's fine. But hey, I like it being first. I like that event kicking it off.
Yeah. I mean, I was just at a high school meet on Friday at Lock Haven. So they had steeplechase,
Yeah,
which is not common in high school in Pennsylvania. It was the first
probably
event.
any state.
Well, I think in New York they do it.
Do they?
Yeah, I think some states they do. But yeah, it was the first event, kicked it off.
I like it first. That's the
Yeah,
way that's how it was when I was there. That's the way I like it because I
yeah.
like to get that event going. That gets you pumped up.
I was gonna try to get one of my athletes to take a picture of me with going over the water barrier, and then I decided I don't know if I could jump it anymore. And
So
I don't want to be wet the rest of the meet.
I know I could jump it, but I got to be honest. Like I was there. It depends on the situation. So like the one day I was playing catch with one of my kids, and the ball went under this like the wood tie
Yeah,
fences.
yeah,
And I was like, I could definitely clear that fence. Like it was, it's like I don't know, 3.5 feet high or whatever. I'm like, I could definitely clear that fence, but if I put any pressure on it, I'm like, the fence might actually break because I have no idea how sturdy it is. You know how those things are. Like if it's not
yeah,
placed right, the whole
yeah.
thing falls out. I'm like, oh god. I was like, if it, I would just be like, if I touch it the wrong way or my leg clips it, and all of a sudden the whole thing like just dominoes down. I was like, I better not do it. I better not do this.
Oh, I
So
had to
I
explain
skipped it. I
that to
went
my
I went
wife.
around it. I went around it. But in the old days, I would have definitely hopped over that and taken my chances. But I was like, if I clip that thing, if I'm not like, because I might be a little tight or something. If I clip that sucker and that thing dominoes, I'm going to be regretting it as I have to pay out for that whole
Yeah.
fence.
You know what the fun part though is about having kids? You could have been like, look what he did. Why did he do that? And then just slip him a 5 afterwards, and
Yeah, no, mine would have been like,
nobody
"Dad, why
knows.
would you do that?"
What did you do?
Yeah, I don't think it would have done that, but I was just worried it was gonna knock out at least a couple of those
Yeah.
ties, and I would have been like spending 45 minutes putting it back together. Why is this thing
So
not working?
because this is one of those things you have to do as a dad. I put a zip line out front for the kids, and of course you have to test it, right?
Yeah.
So a couple of the kids go, and my wife is like, I don't know. That doesn't, is it supposed to do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's supposed to have a little bit of this, that, the other thing." And she's like, "Well, then you go on it because it's supposed to hold my weight." So I went on it. Kakoosh! It broke the post. I came crashing down. That felt great. And I was just like, "Ugh." So
That's it.
needless to say, back to the drawing board. And my buddy's an engineer. So I was like, "Hey, how do I make this post as strong as possible that Shaq could go on this zip line?" And so
Well,
now I've got a zip line that Shaq could do.
there you go. There you go.
Uh,
Dad proof.
I dad proofed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because me. I was joking around. We had company over, and you know, the one of my kids' friends was like running around the house, and they kept trying to like go upstairs, and they just want to check it out. There's a slide up there. It leads out to the yard. It goes all around, and I'm like, yeah, I was making all this up, right? And the mom was like, really? And I'm like, no, not at all. Not at all. No, there's no slide. There's nothing. Like, don't even bother. Don't
We
bother.
don't even have windows up there.
There's not even any steps.
It's just walls.
Kids just looking for steps. But yeah, that was funny. I was,
That is funny.
but I was thinking about you in the zip line because you actually have a zip line.
Yeah, yeah, and that post is pretty sturdy now.
Yeah,
It was not.
that's it.
Well, it was for the kids. It was fine for the kids, and not so much for me. Which is my wife's fault because I wouldn't have gone on it if it wasn't for her. So
She
I'll
needed
cut
to
that
test
part out.
the sturdiness. It's quality assurance, man.
That's right. That's right.
So the as far as the marathoning goes, that's your next big event, or no, you're the 10 miler. And
Yeah, the 10 miler.
but what else do you have? Do you have something else before that you're planning, or what?
I don't have anything lined up. There's a half marathon locally in May. It's the bridge run in Binghamton. If anybody's interested in it, they do have space still available. I might jump into that. I haven't decided yet. But other than that, the 10 miler, and then the wine glass full.
That's pretty
Those are the
close.
only two that are on
May,
my calendar. What's
May's
that?
pretty close.
Yeah, it's like May 20th, I think.
Yeah,
Well, if
less
it
than a
were
month.
further away, I would probably be thinking about it more. But it's so close that you know I could go up. I could decide a couple days out and still go up and do it, and you know it would be okay. Not that far of a drive.
Yeah.
So, how about you? Just the 10?
Uh, just gonna do some 5Ks. If if I can't get to them, I might just do some virtual. As stupid as that sounds, at least that will keep
Yeah.
me honest on what I'm doing. And but yeah,
Yeah.
I might do that if I can't get to the actual event.
I mean, I thought those sounded kind of silly, but I ended up signing up for one last year mainly because of the charity that it supported, the company that was putting it on, and it was on my birthday, and it was kind of cool. I mean, it was kind of the honor system. I mean, you had to submit your like Garmin entry or whatever it
1320.
was, and yeah, my 1320, and they wanted verification, but I was like,
This
oh,
guy's flying.
um,
1320.
but yeah, they sent a T-shirt and a um, medal and stuff, and it was kind of cool. But
Yeah,
I'd much rather, kind of like Gary was saying the other day, like I'd rather be there in person. Like it's so much more fun. And Diamonds did a couple like run at your own.
house.
Yeah, and still did the Diamonds course, so I would went down there and just ran the course by myself Thanksgiving Day, just because tradition at this point.
Right.
And the nice thing was, you got there, you got your stuff, you went, you did it, you were done, and you could move on with your day. But I just really enjoy being around the other people. I enjoy interacting with the crowd.
Right. Right.
Um,
That's
I
the
just,
purpose of the race. The purpose is to
yeah,
be there and experience
yeah,
with everybody and compete with everyone. That's the whole
yeah.
concept. Yeah, I get it.
I'd much rather do it that way. But
Yeah, I get
the
it.
virtual thing was kind of cool, and like you said, it keeps you accountable.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is that at least then I'll schedule a time. I'll go prepare
Yeah,
as if I'm in the actual race, and then I'll do my run
yeah,
and then submit my time. And that would be good for training purposes for sure.
yeah. And I think usually you have a window of time you could do it, so you could kind of,
Right.
if you were busy on the weekend that they're having the event, and then you could kind of work it somewhere else in that
Dude,
window.
I've been busy since '85.
I know, right?
Uh,
Busy.
so listen, let's give everyone an email so that they can send those that haven't emailed us already, so they can send us an email.
Send
What
us
is
an
it?
email. It'll be down below. It's running with Maverick and Wolfman at yahoo.com.
And if you enjoyed what you watched on YouTube, please subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. Be sure to
And if
subscribe.
you're listening, thanks so much for listening.
Yep,
Please share with anyone who you think would benefit from the podcast or would enjoy listening to the show.
yep.
And send in those questions. Thanks for the support. And
Thank you.
obviously, keep running, working out, and just keep at it.
Yeah, get out there.
Maverick and Wolfman running out.